Hi sir, good evening. Still people are joining. Okay. Let's wait for 2 more minutes, sir. Okay. Right, sir. Sir, is my voice clear? Sir, am I audible? Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the confirmation. Right. Right, sir. So what we have discussed yesterday? Sir, what we have discussed yesterday, sir? Uh-huh. Okay. We have discussed about Git. Very good. Okay. Within Git, you're saying basic commands and installations. Okay, good. Fine. Okay. So this Git comes under centralized version control system or a distributed version control system? Distributed version control system. Right. Good, sir. Very good. Right, sir. So we can perform this Git in 3 ways, right? We can do this Git in 3 ways. First one is for single user purpose. Okay. For multi-user purpose. Multi-user purpose, and then on-premise Git server. Okay, by using on-premise Git server. And third one is multi-user purpose only, but this time third-party Git server like GitHub or Bitbucket. So out of these, yesterday we have seen how to use Git for a single user purpose for a single project. Okay, so here we have learned some basic commands. What are those commands? If you can remember, please help me out with the commands, sir. First, we need to create project. Okay, I said my project. Yesterday we have created my project, and then cd to my project, and then and then we need to convert this project as this project directory as Git repository, right? So how to convert this project or this directory as a Git repository? Git init. Okay, right. Git init. And then after initializing Git, we should provide git config double hyphen global user dot name. Okay, let's say some username, and then we should provide the user mail. Git config double hyphen global user dot email, right? Like this. Madhu at localhost or madhu at tcs.com, madhu at wipro.com, like this. Okay, the company mail domain name you can give over there, and then okay, let's say if you have created your files. Okay, whenever you create any file, what you should do, you should add that file to git, and then git add, and then git commit with one message. Okay, added file 1, this. So how to see the git logs? You can use git log command. There you can find all the commits over there. Okay, now right, sir. So after committing this file, okay, let's say, okay, so there is a scenario where you want to modify this file. Okay, let's say you want to modify the existing file. Let's say you want to add some lines to the existing file. Okay, so even though if you modify this file, okay, after modifying this file, again you need to do git add command. Again you need to do git add command. That means whenever you create a new file, you should add, and after that, whenever you modify the existing file, file or existing added file, okay, which is already added, but you modified, right? So whenever you modified, or whenever you modify any new file, again you need to go ahead and add. Okay, again you need to go ahead and add that file. After that, go ahead and commit that. Okay, so whenever you say git commit, internally it will take one snapshot. Okay, it treats like it's a different version. Okay, it treats like the version of your repository. It's a new version of your repository. Okay, but say like this, modified file 1, modified file 1, like this. Okay, right, sir. Okay, so every time you modify any file, yes, of course, after modifying that file, again you need to add that file. Okay, now, so first time you have added the file when you have created that file. Okay, after that, when you modified that file, okay, So here we can adding file and committing. Okay, both the things. Okay, in a single command. Okay, you can do git commit hyphen a and say hyphen m like this. Okay, you can do both the things in the within the same command. Okay, assume that, observe sir, here you have created two files. Okay, assume that you have created two files. Okay, now if you want to add two files, no need to enter two commands like this, git add file2.java like this. Okay, no need to repeat these two commands, or no need to repeat the add commands twice. Directly you can say git add dot, you can mention git add dot. Okay, it will add multiple files, that means all the files, git add dot. Okay, if you want to add all the files, just say git add say dot. Okay, it will add all the new files to git. Okay, so once already file is there but you have modified that file. Okay, so whenever you modified again you need to add that file, right? So when you want to add that file directly after editing that file, okay, directly you can combine both the statements. You can use git commit space hyphen am. What it will do is it will append or it will add the modified file to git, and then it will commit that, file. Okay, it will create a snapshot. So you can here like this, we can combine both the statements. Okay, but when you created a new file, the shortcut command will not work out. Okay, so first when you create a new file, you need to add that file first. Okay, then only you can commit. So after that, whenever you modify the existing added file, okay, if you modified the existing added file like this, then directly you can use hyphen am command. You can combine both the commands, add command and commit command, into a single command. It's your wish. Okay, so if you are comfortable with this, just go ahead and do within a single command only. Okay, like this. Okay, or else you can directly do git commit space hyphen am and then give one commit message, right? So we have done up to here yesterday, right? So we have discussed all these things yesterday. Now, so what is the second way of doing? What is the second way of doing? What, Madhuri? If we create a new file, only git add, not mention the file name. No. Okay, if you say git add and you need to mention the file name. Okay, or else say git add dot. What this dot will do? It will add all the files. Okay, if any new file is there, it will add that file. Okay. Now to give you some more clarity on that. Okay. Let me go ahead and connect to my server one first. Sorry. Okay, so this is our project repository, right? So whenever you have any doubts, okay, you can directly say, so what? Okay, you can directly enter this command git status, the git related things. Okay, so it will tell you how many files are needs to be added, how many files needs to be committed. Okay, about this information. Okay, how many newly created files are there, or how many files needs to be added and how many files needs to be committed. Everything it will tell you. Okay, observe sir. It is saying that nothing to commit, working directly, working tree clean, nothing to commit. So it is saying that, so what are the files that you have in this, what are the files that you have in this directory? Okay, what are the files that you have in this directory? Already committed those files to the Git repository. Okay, let's say if you created one more file, if you created one more file, now if you say, if you take the git status command, if you have taken the git status command, now it is saying that untracked files, saying that file 3 you need to add, you need to add what? So file 3 is untracked. Okay, if you want to add this file, it is saying that the file 3 is untracked file. So if you want to track that, what you need to do is saying that git add and the file name. Now observe, sir, I'll say git add, I'll say dot. Okay, so along with file 3, what are the files are there to be added? In this case, I have created only one file. Let's assume that some 4 or 5 files are there. So all the files it will add. Okay, now take the status, sir. Now take the status. What it is saying, sir? Okay, so changes to be committed. So you added a file, it is saying that changes to be committed. Changes to be committed. What is saying that? What it is saying, sir? You need to commit that file. That is what it's saying. So what are the changes? Okay, you have added the new file, right? So it found that new file, file 3, and what you can do now, it is saying that you need to commit that file. That is what it is saying. So all the changes to be committed. So whenever you have any doubts, okay, so what are the new files that I have created, or what are the new files that I need to commit? Simply you can say, you can take this useful command. Say git status. Okay, say git status. Okay, now, okay, just remember these commands, sir. Just remember these commands. Now, okay, so what is the second way of doing this? What is the second way of doing? So multi-user purpose on-premise Git server. Multi-user purpose on-premise Git server. Let's say in this case, okay. So I'll take a server. I'll configure this particular server as a Git server. I'll configure this particular server as a Git server. I'll configure this particular server as Git server. Okay, which holds the project repositories of, which holds all my project repositories of my company. Okay, let's say, assume that I'm having some, so some developers are there. So these developers are connected to these servers on their machines. Okay, so what I'll do is, first I'll configure a server as a Git server, and then I'll create my project repository in that server. Okay, which is my remote repository. Okay, so in this case, I'll configure my server 1. We have server 1, right? So I'll configure my server 1 as Git server. I'm having 2 servers, right? Okay, so on server 2, okay, I'm having one user account called Mohan, right? I'm having one user account called Mohan. One user account called Mohan. So assume that Mohan is working in my project as a developer, and then, so on server 3, assume that I have one more server. Let's say server 3. Let's say on this server 3, I'm having one more user or one more developer. Let's say Ravi. Okay, say Ravi. Okay, now first assume that, okay, it is my project repository. First I need to configure my server 1 as a Git server, and then I will open one remote repository in this Git server, which holds my project source code, and then okay, I log into server 2 as user Mohan. Assume that user Mohan joined my organization, or joined my project as a developer. Okay, now user Mohan wants to work on my project. So what is the first command that I'll do is, okay, I'll first clone the repository. The first step what I'll do is I will clone the repository. What is the first step? This repository. Okay, cloning means here after cloning means just copying. Okay, it will copy the entire project repository into my local working directory. That means my project directory or my project repository, I have got it here inside. Okay. So as the first time, whenever you want to connect to your project, okay, you should have your project directory, right? So if you want to work in your project, let's say you have joined in the organization, okay, already some development work is going on. So if you want to work in your project, what is the first step you need to do? You need to perform git clone command. Okay, you need to perform git clone command. This is what the first step you need to do. You need to add git clone command. Okay. How to do this git clone? We'll see now. No need to worry. Okay. Git clone command, so that the entire project directory will be available inside your local machine. Go ahead and start working in your local machine into this project. Okay. So once you have taken that project, you can go to that project directory. You will get that project directory. Okay. So within that project directory, you go ahead and create some files. Okay. Like how we have created. Okay. You can go ahead and you can go to the project directory and then say create files. Let's say file 1, and then the same commands are git add file 1 and say git commit -m. So file 1 added. Okay, and here I'm adding one more point. I'll say git push origin master. Like this, I'll add one more command. Okay, I'll say git push origin master. Don't worry about the command. Okay, I'll perform some set of commands. Up to here, you know. Okay, up to these commands, you know the flow. Git commit. Okay, if I say git commit, the snapshot will store in my local repository. After that, I'll say git push origin master. Whenever I said git push origin master, okay, so what are the file that I have written over here, right? Inside my local repository, it will be pushed into this remote server. Okay. Now, assume that Ravi also started my organization. So what is the first step you need to do? You need to first clone the project repository so that he will get the project directory inside his local machine. So when he cloned, already file 1 is there, right? Already file 1 is available in the project directory, which is pushed by user Mohan, right? So Ravi will get the file 1. So while copying that, that means while cloning the project repository already contains a file 1. So what are the files that it contains? All the files the Ravi user will receive inside his local machine, and then assume that he also written some files. Let's say like this, vi file 2. What do you need to do again? Git add file 2. Say git commit -m. So committing his changes in his local repository. Say file 2 added. Okay, and then let's say git push origin master. This is what the command that he will enter, so that the file number 2 will be pushed to this remote repository, so that Now within my remote repository, I am having file 1 and file 2, right? But developer number 1 is having only file number 1 in his local machine, right? Like user Mohan will be having only file 1. So what he needs to do? He needs to pull. He needs to pull the code, or he needs to pull the changes. He needs to pull the code before starting. Before starting the code, what he needs to do? He needs to use git pull command. Okay. So he'll use git pull to fetch the latest changes, so that file 2 will be pulled from a remote machine to his local repository. So the developer number 2 file will be available in developer number 1 machine. Okay. So now developer number 1 will write, he will push that code. Okay, so that the code will be available in the remote repository, and developer number 2 will be pulling that code so that he will get that code. This is how the workflow will be. Okay. Sir, clear up to here? This is how the workflow will be. Okay. This is how the workflow will be. Is it clear, sir? Sir, clear? Everyone? Up to here. You guys clear? Right? Very good, sir. Right. Okay. Now, so what is the first step that we need to do? What is the first step now we need to do? So we need to configure our on-premise Git server. Okay. We need to configure our on-premise Git server. Okay. We need to configure our on-premise Git server. So let's take server 1 and we'll see how to configure our server 1 as on-premise Git server. Okay. Chandramouli, first concentrate on this thing. Okay. Don't get deviated. First concentrate on this. Concentrate on this thing. Okay. Right. So I have server 1. Now I want to configure my server 1 as a Git server, right? Now I want to configure my server 1 as Git server. Okay. Now how to configure my server 1 as Git server? Okay. Let's say you are working on some banking project. Okay. Now your client doesn't want that the code needs to go to outside of your network. Let's say he don't want to use some other third party servers like GitHub or Bitbucket kind of stuff. Okay. So he ordered or he requested you to maintain your own GitHub server. Okay. Not GitHub server, your Git server, which can maintain your source code repository. Okay. So how to do that one, or how to establish on-premise Git server? So to create on-premise Git server, or to configure your on-premise Git server, let's say we are configuring our server 1 as on-premise Git server, right? So what I'll do is, let's go ahead and create one user account. Let's go ahead and create one user account. Say user add Git. Let's say we'll be setting up some password for user Git. So this Git user will be the Git admin. Okay, this Git user will be the Git admin. Okay, so assume that he will be the admin for all the project repositories that you are going to create on this remote repository. Okay, on this remote server. Assume that for this server has a Git server, right? So for this Git server, I am creating one admin account. Okay, let's say the admin account is Git. Now, which holds this Git user account holds all the project repositories. Okay, Git server means it holds not only our current project, right? Some other projects also they might want to store on your Git repository, on your Git server. So I will switch as user Git, so that my present working directory would be /home/git, right? Okay, so all my project directories I'm going to create under /home/git. Okay, so here let's go ahead and create one directory. Let's say project 1 on my Git server. Okay, now I'll go to project 1, I'll 1. Now I'll say git init. Okay, so till now it's a normal directory. Now I'll say git init double hyphen bear. I'll say git init double hyphen bear. Here I need to mention one flag. Bare repository means it contains nothing. Okay, if multiple people wants to work on your project repository, okay, now observe here, sir. So multiple developers wants to connect to your project repository, right? Okay, it contains, now I'm saying that, so you should mention double hyphen bear here. Okay, on the git server, on the remote git server, while creating the project repository, you should initialize this project repository with double hyphen bear flag. Double hyphen bear means it contains nothing. That means you should not do any project or development in this directory directly. Okay, this bear indicates multiple people wants to, or multiple people are working on this project directory, and then okay, so no work should be developed over here. Okay, you should develop your work in your local machines, and then you need to push that code to the remote repository. That is what the only thing. Okay, double hyphen bear means it contains nothing. It contains nothing. Okay, so if you haven't pushed, or if you haven't put this double hyphen bear flag, okay, it will not allow multiple users to connect to this remote repository. Okay, if you want to configure your remote server, okay, or if you want to configure your remote repository, you should use double hyphen bear flag along with git init. That means I am not going to write any code over here. It is my remote repository. So where I want to write, I am going to write on my user account, which is there on server 2. Okay, on server 2, I am having my user account. Okay, as user Mohan. So user Mohan is my user account on server 2. So user Mohan is working as a developer for this project. Okay, so whatever the code I am writing, I will be writing into the user Mohan's. Okay, I am writing as user Mohan. That one server 2. Okay, so now first let's go ahead and configure the server 1 as a git server. Okay, so let's go ahead and so I'm having user server 1, right? So let me switch as user root. Switch as user root. Yes. So let me create one user account. Say user add git. Say pass. So I'm setting up a password for git admin. Okay. And now switch user as git. Okay, so make sure your present working directory is /home/git /home/git. Okay, now let's go ahead, let's create one project directory over here. mkdir, let's say project 1, mkdir project 1, let's say cd2 project 1. So here, which command I need to use? Git init double hyphen bear. Git init double hyphen bear. Okay, if you can ls. Okay, previously when you enter git init, it has created one .git folder. Okay, but here when you install git init, when you enter the command git init double hyphen bear, okay, it hasn't created .git directly. The contents of the that .git directory you can see over here. That means you are not allowed to do anything over here. Okay, it is for git server remote repository purpose. You are not allowed to do anything over here. Okay, only this thing, that's it. Okay, only you should say git init double hyphen bear, that's it. You are not allowed to do anything over here. Okay, so I have configured one git server. Within that git server I have created one remote repository. Okay, I have configured my server 1 as git server, that is the first thing, and Okay, I have created my remote repository. Okay, now, okay, I need to go to server 2. I need to go to server 2. To server 2. Let me log into server 2. Sorry. So Git server is done. I have created my remote repository. Now let's go ahead and create a local repository. Let's go ahead and create a local repository on server 2. So I am doing this part, sir, now. Okay. So this part is done. So I have completed this task, this part. Okay. Now I am going to do this particular part, this part. Okay. I am going to configure the local repository for my developer number 1. So I have logged into server 2. I think on server 2, okay, there is a user account called Mohan. Assume that Mohan is working in my project. Assume that Mohan is working in my project as a developer. Okay. Now, what is the first step that Mohan needs to do? What is the first step that Mohan needs to do? So, Mohan contains nothing, right? Observe, sir. To now, let's say, let's try to copy that repository, git clone. Okay. Let's try to clone our remote repository. Okay. Which is there on my git server with project number 1. Okay. Project 1, right? So let's go ahead and clone that. So git clone. Here we need to mention the URL. So where is that? Observe, sir. So where is that remote repository? It is under user account git, right? On server1.satya.com, right? And what is the path to your remote repository? You need to mention here /home/git/ so what is your project name? The project name is project 1. Okay, this is what you need to mention, sir. This is what you need to mention, sir. Okay, so before performing this command, first we need to verify whether we can be able to reach my server 1 from server 2 by using this host name. Okay, so clear? First command is before performing the git clone command. Now I want to reach. Observe, sir. Now I need to check whether I can be able to reach my server 1 with the host name on server 2. Okay. So how to check that one? So if you want to connect like that, first you need to check this file, right? /etc/host file. So on server 2, do you guys remember that one? On server 2, if you want to connect from server 2 to server 1 with host name, what you need to do? You need to have an entry in /etc/host file, right? You need to have the server 1's IP address and host name. Here we don't have that entry, right? So we could not be able to connect to server 1 with the host name. Clear, sir? Now observe, sir. Okay. If I want to connect like this on server1.satya.com, it could not be able to connect to server1.satya.com because it could not be able to resolve the hostname server1.satya.com because I did not make an entry in /etc/host file. Now what we need to do? First we need to make an entry in slash etc slash host file. So let me open that file, slash vi slash etc slash host file. I'm opening this file, and here I need to enter server 1's IP address and host name. Okay, I'm taking the local IP address, server 1's private IP address. So what is the server 1's private IP address? 172.31.37.94. Say server 1 dot satya or .com, server 1 dot satya.com. Okay, now verify. Let's go ahead and verify whether we can be able to reach with the host name or not. Yes, now we can be able to reach with the host name. Okay, right. So I have entered server 1's IP address and host name in slash etc slash host file. So now let's go ahead and now let's go ahead and use this command, sir. Okay, what is that command? Let's say git clone command. Let's try to perform this command, git clone. So where is my project repository URL? It is under git user account on server 1 dot satya.com colon slash home slash git slash project 1 slash project 1. Okay, this is what the URL, this is what the path to my remote repository. Now observe what is saying, sir. Git command not found. Why? So git software is not there in my server 2. Okay, in order to perform git clone command, it is saying that git command is not there in my local machine. So what I need to do, first I need to install git, right? So for that I'm having sudo privileges on server 2. Let's go ahead and install git. Okay, so I have installed git. Now let's try to perform that git clone command. Enter. What it is saying, sir? It is asking the git user's password. It is asking the git user's password on server 1. Okay, so think generally, sir. Think generally. Now in this case, I am the git admin. Okay, I am the git user on server 1, and I am user Mohan. That's why I know the git server's IP address. Okay, just press Control C, sir. But if you want to clone that, if you want to clone your project directory, okay, if you want to clone your project directory, you should have certain privileges. So if anyone uses the same command, git clone command, okay, if someone uses the git clone command, he will get the project repository, right? Okay, he will get the project repository, right? He can be able to connect to my remote repository, right? So I should provide some security. I should provide some security to my git server. I should provide some security to my git server. How I can how should I provide some security? Okay, if anyone asks or if anyone enters git clone command with this URL, if anyone got this URL, if you can enter that command, he will get my source code, right, from the remote repository. Okay, so I should allow only approved users. Okay, here. Okay, so from your local machine, if you clone git clone, if you got my enter URL, if you enter git clone command, okay, if you can able to get my source code from my remote repository, it will be like a security breach, right? So I should not allow others. I should allow only trusted users. I should allow only trusted users. I should allow only trusted communication. Okay, so to allow trusted communication, here, observe, sir, here I need to perform this command. Okay, observe, sir. Observe, sir. SSH hyphen keygen. I am entering SSH hyphen keygen because from server 2 I want to connect to server 1. Server 1, where I want to connect? I want to connect to server 1's git user account, right? From user Mohan, I want to connect to my remote repository, which is under user account Mohan, right? Which is under user account git, right? So I am entering sh hyphen keygen. Let's say I'll say ssh hyphen copy hyphen id. Okay, where you want to copy? I want to copy to git user account, which is there on server1 dot satya.com, right? So now I am establishing a secured authentication. Let's say you can say passwordless authentication between my server 2 user account Mohan to server 1's git user account. Okay, observe sir. Done. Okay, so this is what the two commands you need to enter first time. Okay, before cloning this, sir, remember this point, sir. Okay, this point you should remember this point, because when you go to GitHub, the first command that what you need to do is this one only. Okay, first you need to say ssh-keygen, because every time this user wants to push some code to the remote repository and pull that code to the remote repository, every time this user Mohan wants to make a communication to Git server, right? So we are setting up a passwordless authentication to user Mohan to server 1. Okay, to perform all the Git related commands without entering any passwords, we are setting up a passwordless authentication to user Mohan to user Git, which is there on server 1. Okay. So what is the second thing? To which user ID you need to copy? SSHFN copy ID you need to copy to server 1.satya.com. So from now onwards, you can perform all the Git related commands without entering the passwords. Okay, without entering the passwords. Now you enter this command, sir, git clone command. Okay. So after creating that, now you perform that command. Git clone. Yes. What it is saying, sir? Yes, of course. You have to have cloned empty repository. Observe, sir. Say ls. Now I have got project 1. Right? So previously project 1 is not there here. I have just copied that project 1 to my local machine by using git clone command. Okay. Now I'll go to my project, cd to project 1. Here what is the first step I need to do? Don't forget, sir, config -global, because multiple persons will be working on the same project, right? Multiple people will be working on this project. Okay, so Git should track who is committing what. Okay, Git should track which user is committing. Okay, that's why first thing is, whenever you are working on a project where multiple users are involved, the first thing is, okay, after cloning your project repository, this is the first thing you need to do. Okay, git config global user dot name, say Mohan, and then git config global user dot email Mohan @ if you're working on VPC Pro, say wipro.com, or if you're working on Tech Mahindra, I'll say techmahindra.com. Currently I don't have anything, I'll say localhost. That's it. Okay, after that, let's go ahead and create some file. I'm creating one file over here. Okay, let's go ahead and use touch command. So touch file 1. Now assume that I have created some file. Next, what we need to do, sir? Git add file 1, and then say git commit -m, say file 1 added by Mohan. I'll say file 1 added by Mohan. So whenever multiple people are involved, you should enter your name in the commit message. Okay, it will be a good practice or good idea. Say git commit -m file 1 added by Mohan. What is the extra step? Okay, what is the extra step that we need to do here? I need to enter git push origin master. Git push origin master. Okay, that means from this server I am pushing my code to this remote server. Okay, up to here, up to here. Okay, all my work is in my local machine, in my local repository. Okay, the work is in my local repository. So I have committed and then I am pushing that snapshot. Okay, sir. Committing means if I say git commit, what it will take internal, it will create a snapshot of your entire directory, right? So I am putting that snapshot, I am pushing that snapshot into my remote server. Okay, which is a placeholder for all repositories. Okay, here I am pushing that snapshot. Okay, so now the snapshot contains what? File 1, which is developed by user Mohan on server 2. Right? Now on server 3, I need to set up a new account, sir. On server 3, I need to set up a new account. Okay, will you guys suggest me how to do this one? On server 2, I have created user Mohan, right? So assume that on server 2, I have user account called Mohan on server 2. Now, one more developer joined in my organization. Let's say he's working on server 3. Okay. Let's say that username is Ravi. Ravi. So, will you guys suggest me the commands how I can be able to create a local repository in his local machine in order to Ravi, this user Ravi, to work on my current project. Okay, so I don't have server 3, right? I don't have server 3, right? So what I'll do is assume that, okay, assume that I'm doing it on a different server, but assume that, okay, on server 2 I'll create one more user account called Ravi. Okay, because I don't have any new server, right? So on the server 2 I'll create one more user account called Ravi. Is that fine? Is that fine? Okay. Assume that these two users are working on two different servers. Okay. So Ravi user, I'll clone my project repository to this user Ravi's home account. So Ravi user is also having the project repository. Okay. So Ravi can also do some work over here and then he can push that code to the remote repository so that the user Mohan can pull the code from remote repository. Okay. So is that fine? So is that clear what I am doing? Instead of creating one more new server, just I am creating another account in the same server. Okay. So just assume that these two are acting from different servers. Okay. These two developers are working on two different servers. So just assume like that. Okay. Clear, sir? So is it clear? Sir, please respond, sir. Is it clear? Okay. Or else I need to create one more new server. So within that server, I need to do SS configuration, all those things. Okay. Right. So let's go ahead and create one user account on this server, sir. I'm saying that let me enter this command, git push origin master. Say done. I perform this command. Now let's go to let's switch as user root. Switch as user root. Now let's go ahead and create one user account. Say user add Ravi. Okay, assume that I'm doing it on a different server. I'm creating one user account for user Ravi. Okay, one more developer has joined in my organization with the name Ravi. So now, from now onwards, Ravi is also responsible to develop or to work on this current project. So let me switch as user Ravi. Now what is the first step that Ravi needs to do? SSH-keygen. If Ravi wants to communicate to my Git server and then SSH hyphen copy hyphen ID. I am copying this to server1 dot satya.com, so that without entering any password, my Ravi can be able to communicate to my remote repository. He can be able to enter any Git related commands. Say yes. So it is asking the password. Let's say I'm entering the password. Say done. Now, sir. So what is the first? What is the next command that I need to do? I need to perform git config double hyphen global user dot name. So what is the username here? Say Ravi, and then user dot email. User dot email Ravi at localhost. Ravi at localhost. What is the next thing I need to do? I need to clone it, right? I need to clone it for the first time, right? So git clone the full URL of my remote repository. Okay, the full URL of my remote repository I need to enter over here. Okay, so it is under user account git, which is under server1 dot satya.com, which is under server1 dot satya.com colon slash home slash git. Under git, what is my project name? Say project 1. Project 1. Observe, sir. Now the entire project 1 code is copied over here. So it has created one local repository. So cd to project 1. Say ls. Observe, sir. This Ravi user haven't created any file, but he has got file 1, which is pushed by developer number 1, which is pushed by user Mohan, right? Okay, so while cloning the project, whatever the entire code is there, he got that project related code. Okay, now assume that Ravi also started working, so he has also created one file. Okay, he has also created some file. Now git add file 2. All these commands are same, and then say git commit hyphen m, git commit hyphen m, let's say file 2 added by Ravi, file 2 added by Ravi. Okay, and then what is the last command you need to enter? Say git push origin master. Git push origin master is the command you need to enter. So observe, sir. So now Ravi user has pushed the changes, so he is having 2 files in his local machine. Okay, now Ravi user is having 2 files in his local repository, but user Mohan is having only 1 file, right? User Mohan is having only file number 1, right? So how this user Mohan will get the file number 2, which is latestly updated by or uploaded by user Ravi? Okay, observe, sir. Now let me switch as user Mohan. So this Mohan user is having only 1 file, right? Mohan user is having only 1 file. So how this Mohan user will get the latest file, or else how this Mohan user will get a file number 2, which is pushed by user Ravi? Okay, so he need to enter this command. Say git pull origin master. You need to enter which command? Git pull origin master. So what it will do? It will go ahead and pull the latest files. Like this the work will be happening, sir. So the developer, now the user Mohan will be developing some more files. Let's say file 3 has developed some other file, some other code. Okay, what he will do? He will add that file, and then he will commit that file with commit hyphen m. Let's say file 3 added by Ravi. File 3 added by not Ravi, it's Mohan. Okay, I have put the wrong commit message. Nothing to worry, no problem. After this, let's say git push origin master. So user Mohan is pushing that file to the remote repository. He is having 3 files now. Okay, so he pushed all his changes to the remote repository and he went off. Next, so before starting the work on the next day, okay, now user Ravi, what he will do? First, he will push the latest changes. He will push the latest code from the remote repository. Let's say currently he is having only 2 files, right? So before starting his work, what he will do? He will say git pull origin master. So if any latest files are there, it will come to his local machine. Let's say, so file 3, which is uploaded by user Ravi or user Mohan, will be available to user Ravi as well. So like this, sir. So the working style would be happening like this. Okay. So here we have configured. One remote server, which is called as a Git server. Here we would be configuring, or we have configured one remote repository for our project 1. Okay. So the developers will be connected to this remote repository by using SSH protocol, right? So they would be cloning that project directory into their local machines like this. Okay, so if developer number 1 develops any code, he will commit that code into his local repository and then he will push that code into the remote repository so that the code will be available in the remote repository. So developer number 2 will be pulling that code so that the developer number 1 code will be available in his local machine, and then whatever the code that he will write here, and then he will push that code to the remote repository by the end of the day. And then in the next day, the developer number 1 will be pulling that code into his local machine so that he will get that file number 2, which is developed by developer number 2 in his local machine. And then now today, whatever the code that he will write the code. So once he has written that code, he will commit that into local repository and then he will push that code to the remote repository like this. Okay. So one guy will be pushing that code, another guy will be pulling that code. So if another guy will be pushing that code to the remote repository, and the developer number 1 will be pulling that code like this. Like this, multiple people or multiple users will be connected to a remote server or to a remote repository, and this is how they will be working on. Okay, this is how the work style will be. Okay. Now the config file we need to do only once. Okay. So whenever you are creating one local repository, one new local repository for one particular user, then only you need to enter. You need to do git config -global. That is for one time purpose. This is for only one time purpose. Where is that one? Okay, this is git config -global, right? This is for only one time purpose. Okay, after doing git clone, say cd to project 1, and then you need to perform these commands. As I said, Mohan, right? So this is only one time. Okay, after this, everything is same. Okay, so here you need to say git push origin master. Sir, clear? So we have some other commands. We are going to create branches. So the rest of the things, okay, we'll continue from Monday. Okay, you guys go ahead and practice all these things. So till now, whatever the sessions that I have conducted, all the sessions are available on YouTube. Okay, I think this video also they will be uploading or by the end of day or by tomorrow. Okay, so the next class will be on Monday. On Monday, we will be continuing the concept from here itself. Okay, so if you want to check my previous videos, go ahead and search for this YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel name is Satya Technologies. Okay, the YouTube channel name is Satya Technologies. Okay, you can find my previous classes videos over there. Okay, they have uploaded all the videos till yesterday. Okay, sir. So let me copy the notes over there. So I'm copying the notes in the chat box for practice purpose. Okay. Yes, if you want to practice, go ahead and paste these commands or save these commands. Okay. So I am not responsible person to upload the videos in YouTube, ma'am. Okay. Whenever the management is having time, okay, they'll upload all the videos. No need to worry. Whenever they'll have time, they'll definitely upload the videos. Okay. So that's it, sir. The 6:15 batch, okay, are joined by 6:20. Okay, I'll start the class by 6:20. Sir, if any guys are interested to continue that class as well, go ahead and contact the management so that you'll get the link to attend that class. Okay. So that's all for today, sir. Again, we will meet back by Monday, 5 o'clock, sharp 5 o'clock. Okay. The 6:15 batch, please join by 6:20. Okay. So I have pasted the notes in the chat box. Right, sir. Have a happy weekend, sir. Right. Yes, yes, yes. Lenovo PC. All classes are available on YouTube. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for attending the session. Bye bye.